Hello friends, how you doing? Pretty good? Great! Guess where I am right now? I'm here! Due to the coronavirus, sad thing is Olympics might be cancelled. Several things ought to be mentioned when it comes to Tokyo hosting the Olympics. In 1938, Japan retained the privilege due to insufficient funds. Then in 1964, the city hosted the event for the first time. And now, in 2020, Tokyo might be set the record by becoming the only Asian city to host two Olympics. Its persistence in pursuing the Olympics is reflected in the scale and depth with which the country focused on sports. With Japan established the Sports Day as a national holiday sporting brand, constantly showcasing a product with new technology and sports event, frequently selling out, the traditional high spirit of the Japanese is fundamentally infused with the sports, and the influence of such determination is beyond imagination. When Japan first hosted the Olympics, it went all out to show the world the region's power, the devastation of World War II, from architecture and mass transit through art and design and down to the daily details. Japan's outstanding implementation capability, including significant projects that continue to influence others, such as the completion of Shinkansen and the Shinjuku Station redesign, and the Suto Expressway, to name a few. Today, 56 years later, the world is watching to see what Japan has prepared for the 2020 Olympics and how they have outrun their own record. Japan do not have a draft system. Since the end of World War II, Japan has not had a draft system according to the constitution adopted at the time. Japanese people renounce war forever and are forbidden from maintaining the armed force, and therefore there is no draft. But because there is a viewpoint that Japan must have the defense capability against aggression, their self-defense forces membership is voluntary. Self-defense forces are well equipped with advanced defenses and weapons. There is some disagreement among Japanese about what the extent of these arms should be, but most Japanese would agree that the ban on nuclear weapons should be maintained. The declaration for the total abolition of nuclear weapons. Increasing number of victims around the world who have been exposed to radiation caused by accident at nuclear power stations and the testing of nuclear arms. An apology was expressed to the people of Asia and the Pacific, saying that Japan passed colonial rule and involvement in the war. Japan's past war responsibilities inflicted suffering and despair upon them. The cruel Japanese imperialism at the time caused wars and invaded other nations. In the end, Japanese are resting on the consciousness of victims, all blaming them for the crimes of some soldiers, and then making a disrespectful look. Nearly 2.5 million of Japan's war dead, including Class A war criminals, are enshrined at Yasukuni Shrine. The official visit to Yasukuni Shrine by the Emperor and the Prime Minister are unconstitutional. Yushukan is a museum which has inherited the sincerity and the record of the enshrined deities of the Yasukuni Jinja, by display under their important wills and relics. This museum, established in 1882, stored 100,000 articles, including many pieces of painting, works of art, armors, and weapons. Issue means to associate it with and to learn from high-principled peoples. Each article displayed in this museum is filled with the wishes of predecessors who named this museum Yushukan and the sincerity of the enshrined deities who devoted themselves to building their peaceful nation. By touching directly the sincerity of enshrined deities who sacrificed their precious lives for their loving motherland, hometown, and families. We needed to express their condolences to all war victims and their bereaved families and the world, including Asia. They have pursued the process of their rebirth as a peace-loving nation after the war. For those of us still living for us, it is quite obvious what must be done. A nation should cherish its birthright of peace. It should not shift from the front rank of industrialism to lawless militarism. When the conditions of society are so changed that they have become not only opposite but also hostile, it is a time to prepare consider. It is far easier to make war than to make peace. Never think that war, no matter how necessary, nor how justified, is not a crime. Mankind must put an end to war, because war will put an end to mankind. The particular of war and their long-term effect cannot be determined in the short term, as what seems like a tragic loss of a overwhelming victory today can have drastic consequences a decade and even centuries later. And it's equally important to bear in mind that no nation exists in a vacuum. As the trials and the tribulation of one nation can have an effect on other nations to a profound degree. Some of the most terrifying moments have been in the midst of conflict. I can imagine next to mounds of dead Iranian soldiers, teenagers actually during the Iran-Iraq War in 1984. War, what is that good for? Conflict and the progress of the civilization from primate to robot, both an archaeologist and a historian survey thousands of years of history, comes away with a seemingly startling with the human progress has been helped rather than hindered by war. By fighting war, people have created a larger, more organized society that reduces the risk that their members will die violently. Even with the trenches, even with Hitler, with Hiroshima, with terrorism, with a third world war. We have only a 1% chance by dying violently. I will contact you as soon as I arrive at airport. See you soon. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.